I'm going to be estimating and simplifying square roots. Now, let's start with the estimating. Estimate each square root to the nearest tenth. Okay, and here's what you're going to see. Look, here is the square root of 80. So look, I'm going to put, and I'm thinking to myself, like, that's really close to 81. Right, so like here's a number line, here's the square root of 81. That's also the number 9. Like, that's the same, right? So this square root of 80 is a number just before 9. What number is just before 9? Well, think like what's on the number line here. Like this is 8, 8.1, 8.2, 8.3. All the way up to just before 9, you would get to like 8.9, right? This is just before 81. Okay. Now here, this 99, right? Like here's, I'm thinking to myself, that's really close to square root of 100, which is the number 10. So this number is right here. It's just before 10. What would that number be? Oh, look, that would be 9.9. Okay, here's 82. Now look, 82, here's 81, right? That's 9. Here's 82. It's just after 9. So what would that number be that's just after 9? It's between 9 and 10. It's just really close to 9. That would be 9.1. And then finally, this is just above 100, right? It's like right there next to 100. This would be 10.1. Okay, just a little bit more than the square root of 100. The square root of 100 is 10. This is just a little bit more than that. All right. When I'm simplifying radicals, we start by just factoring, finding any. And what we're looking for is doubles. And remember, the reason we're looking for doubles is because they simplify. So here, my factors, I'm going to list I have 2 5s. I'm going to list them together. And I'm going to separate the doubles out into their own house. And look, these are both singles, right? So look, I'm on my doubles. The singles, they're going to stay in their own house. Look, this simplifies. So like this is 5 times 5, it's 25, but it's the square root of 25, which is just the number 5. I'm able to take the square root here. Whereas here, this is just 3 times 2, which is 6. I'm not able to take the square root of 6. It's, right, like look, I can put in my calculator. The square root of 6 is like this. Ugh, nope. We just leave it as square root of 6. Okay. Here, starts off the same. Notice I'm circling my primes. That's just a strategy to make your life way easier. I'm going to list my doubles together, and then I'm actually just going to list out my variables. I see different people do this different ways, but I really just feel like listing all of it out together is just like the way to go. Double, single, double, double, single, double. Okay, here we go. Now look, I could write this out. I'm going to write it just for the sake of the example, but I don't actually really think you should be doing this. I think you should be writing it without this line that I'm doing. But notice I'm taking each double and putting it in its own house, and then the singles go in their own house. Okay, now, look, this is 2 times 2, that's 4, but the square root of 4 is just the number 2. So this just becomes just the number 2. This becomes just an x. Look, this becomes another x. This becomes a y, and this doesn't simplify. Okay, and there is my answer. Okay, here, this is like this one. The difference is I have this junk that I might forget about. I'm just going to put it here so I don't forget. I'm going to start with this. This is 3 times 100. Look here, once I have 10 and 10, I'm actually going to cheat. Okay, I'm going to stop. Now look, if I did 5, 2, 5, 2, I would have a double 5 and a double 2. But actually, once I see this double, I'm going to cheat and stop. Okay, and again, look, so I have a double here. Okay, I'm going to treat it as a double. But remember, if I had a double, if I had factored this all the way, I would have had a double 5 and a double 2, and that would have ended up on the outside, and I would have multiplied it together, and I would have gotten 10 anyway. Okay, but I noticed that shortcut, and I'm going to take it. Double, 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 single. Okay, here we go. So look, I'm going to skip. Watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to skip this step. See that step where I wrote everything out? Look, I know this double 10. Look, this double 10 is just going to become a 10 on the outside, right? I know this double A is just going to become an A on the outside. This double A, same. It's going to be A squared. This double B, same. It's all just going to go to the outside. And I'm using the dots just to remind myself that I actually still have multiplication to do, right? I have this junk out here too. Okay, and then my singles left on the inside are 3 and B. And then let's just multiply everything together. So I have my number, 7 times 10. That's 70. I have 2 A's, and then I actually have 1, 2, 3 B's, right? I had this B from the inside, came right here, and then I had 2 B's just, chilling out there, waiting for me to multiply them. Okay, and then here we go. And this is my answer. All right, go ahead and try these ones down below.